So I am.
You are caring and loving and very traditional, yes.
Where's the pretty babe?
Oh, and
Do listener expect financial support from Filipinas?
well,
Next question for you is are you excited?
always.
You're always excited, babe. What are red flags dating for? How do you know if she genuinely likes you? How do Western view younger Filipinas?
Well, in the West, age isn't a big deal. I see a lot of right? I bring it up more than she does. She doesn't think about it at all. I think about it more than she does. So, and another piece of advice about dating online, men, is do not.
Here's the next question. What are common scams to avoid?
I think we've covered most of them. Don't ever. You'll never probably experience the kind of love and affection in the West from a woman.
Oh my God, he's coming, so he's serious.
Yeah. Well, welcome back. Today, if you didn't watch the first video where I interviewed Lorna, go back and watch that one. I'm going to put a link up here where you can click onto that and watch her answer the internet's burning questions about Filipinas. But I'm going to answer those same questions from a Western man's perspective in this video. So if you haven't, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and let's see what questions Lorna has for me.
Yes. For the first question to you is, are Western really interested to Filipinas?
Are we interested in Filipinas? Yes. As a Western man, I was attracted to not only the beauty of the Filipinas, but also their values. They're very conservative people and culture, and those were some of the things that attracted me to the Philippines and Filipinas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do some Westerner prefer Filipina?
I think Westerners prefer Filipinas because they're very caring, they're very loving, they take care of their men. They're more traditional roles in their culture, and as a Westerner, we don't see that anymore in the West, or it's very rare. And if you have a Western woman that are those things, hold on to her. But most Western men don't find that anymore. So we come here seeking those qualities in the Filipinas.
So I am.
You are caring and loving and very traditional, yes.
Where's the pretty babe?
Oh, and pretty. You are pretty.
Just kidding. Is dating in the Western serious or casual?
It tends to be more casual at first. So, you don't see a lot of Western women and men that go straight to serious anymore. Maybe 30, 50 years ago, it might have been more on the serious, but today it's a very casual dating scene in the West. So very different from here in the Philippines.
How fast do relationships move in Western culture?
Well, it depends on the age, I think, of the Westerner. So I think men of my age, 50 and older, they probably go probably at a little faster pace than the younger generations behind us. It's not like a set thing. You could date here in the West. You could date a woman for years and years and years before even getting engaged. That's very common. Where here in the Philippines, as you answered in your video,
Yeah, 3 months.
it's 3 months
yeah.
to maybe to a year, and they're gonna want a ring on that finger.
Yeah. Do listener expect financial support from Filipinas?
Well, it depends on the Westerner. So some Westerners may be younger and they may be okay if their Filipina still works. Some Westerners may be older than me and want a travel partner or a life partner that isn't working and therefore doesn't need any of her support in the relationship. But I think typically Western men are not looking for their Filipina to be contributing financially to.
Is it true you support the whole family?
Well, in the West, we don't typically support our parents in retirement. So that's a big cultural difference between the West and the Philippines. In fact, it's probably the opposite, where elderly parents still support their children as even children that are adult age. So it's a completely 180 mindset from the West.
What are family expectations when dating a Westerner?
Well, I think most Westerners are of the age that they're not looking to build a family. And most men over the age of 50 are not looking to start a family. So our expectations may not line up with your Filipina's expectations if she hasn't had children yet. So that's something to consider. But Western men are not coming here to, at least most of them are not coming here to build families. Now, that being said, there could be younger Western men in their 30s and early 40s that may be willing. I mean, everyone's different. I've seen Western men here in their 50s and 60s with children. Yes. Yeah. So it's all dependent on that Western man and what his background is.
How important is the religion in a relationship?
Well, in the West, it's not that important. So to come here and have a very Catholic nation, and most of the Filipinos are very Catholic or at least Christian, maybe an issue with them because you're not heavily religious. But in the West, we don't lean on that as much as we used to. Maybe 30, 40, 50 years ago, it was more important. But in today's culture in the West, it's not nearly as important. But if you are a Western man and you are a Christian, whether you're Catholic or Protestant, come here to the Philippines, you'll find that 99% of the Filipinas they have very good Christian values, at least. They may not be the exact same denomination, but that shouldn't matter as much as that they hold the same Christian values here.
Are long-distance relationships common?
Well, I used one to find you, so I think in the West it's becoming more and more common. I know a lot of Filipinos, they do leave the country to find better paying jobs and maintain long distance relationships with their loved ones back here, but it doesn't go that way in the West as much.
Next question for you is, are you excited?
Always.
You're always excited, babe. What are the red flags to watch for?
Well, when I was online, I had a lot of red flags from a lot of different Filipinas until I found the right one. You got to watch out for the scammers. It's an industry here. There's full-on call centers that are just trying to find Western men to prey on, to get them to send you money, from you. They'll tell you all kinds of sob stories. Their brother got hit by a car on his motorbike. My mom's kidneys failing. The dog, is dying. You name it, they're going to come up with it. I'm behind on my rent, and I'm going to be homeless, living on the streets tomorrow if I don't pay my rent. The list goes on and on and on. So those are all red flags. Now, in person, when you're dating a Filipina, the same thing's going to be true. Like if she isn't giving you all of her free time and attention, that's probably a red flag. And maybe she's got a boyfriend, down the street or whatever. Sure. But I think when you get boots on the ground, you land in the country, a red flag would be, I'll meet you tomorrow for dinner, and you're arriving at 10 a.m. on a flight, here in Manila or Cebu or wherever, and she can't meet you at the airport or meet you, right away at your Airbnb or wherever your hotel that you're staying in. That's a red flag. They're going to want to meet you right away, probably at the airport. If that isn't in the conversation before you arrive, that's a big red flag.
Yeah, that's why I asked you before that, is it okay for you if I introduce you to my family, especially my parents?
Yeah, that's, if that topic doesn't come up, that should be a red flag as well.
Yeah.
But mostly it's the money. They should never, ever even hint that they need money. at all.
Yeah.
If they do, then they're not in for love, they're in for
Yeah.
the financial aspect of dating you.
How do you know if she genuinely likes you?
Well, she'll be very loving, very caring, very hands-on, holding your hands, touching your leg, giving you lots of affection that way. Maybe not. Maybe she's a Filipina that isn't into physical contact as a love language. They tend to be a little more on the touchy side. Just keep in mind that public displays of affection aren't something that Filipino culture is prevalent with. Like, that's not a thing where they go around kissing and hugging a lot in public. But if she's wanting to hold your hand, if she's wanting to spend time with you, if she won't let you do little things like clean a dish, clear a table, those are things that means that she really genuinely loves you, or at least likes you a lot.
Yes. What cultural misunderstandings cause the most problems?
Well, I'd say it's probably around family. Because the Filipino culture definitely put family first, and that should be the case. But I'm talking about like brothers and sisters and parents, the expectations they have. I don't think it's a deal breaker. I don't even think it's a big problem. You have a very large family. I think if it were a smaller family, it would even be more amplified because there would be less children and only, that you might have to financially support. But as a Westerner, you're going to come in here and you're going to have a little bit of a culture shock on how much the Filipino family is the center of every Filipino's life.
Jealousy common in Western relationship?
I'd say it's not as big a role as here in the Philippines. I'm not a jealous person, so I don't personally have a perspective on jealousy, but I don't see it a lot in the West. I mean, sure, you watch the local news or national news and you always hear about some crime, crime of passion, dating another woman or whatever. So it can happen absolutely in the West, but is it very common? It's not nearly as common as here. They are definitely a very jealous culture, especially the Filipinos is on their men. So keep that in mind, men, if you arrive here or if you're even chatting online. Little questions, little innuendos to find out if you're talking to other Filipinas online, because if you are, she's gonna be very jealous, and it's not gonna go very well.
Yeah, if he's flirting to other Filipina.
Well, flirting, some guys are flirts, so you can't take flirting as serious, but they're going to be very jealous. So even if you're a flirty guy, your Filipina hopefully isn't on the jealous side of the spectrum, because it could be a problem, and then you'll have a lot of most likely tampo from her, right? Where she'll be very quiet, won't talk to you. That'll be her response. Now, Lorna does not have tampo.
Yeah.
No, you do not have tampo at all. So I got lucky.
What role does social media play in dating?
Well, I don't really use social media in the West. So, I mean, I did try to look you up on Facebook, knowing that Filipinos all have Facebook pages. And I was able to find your Facebook page. So that was a green flag. So that was a positive thing when I found your Facebook page, and that you weren't a scammer, and you were a real person with a real family and background.
And I was so shocked during that time that, oh my God, you already checked my Facebook, and I really don't know how will you find it, how you find my Facebook like that.
I was a searching fool. That's how I found
You're a
it.
stalker.
Yeah, I did. It took me not terribly long, but it took a few minutes to search it.
How do Western view younger Filipinas?
Well, in the West, we would have no shot at dating a woman 15 or 20 or more years younger than us. It's just not culturally accepted. They'll unless you're like an actor or someone famous that can get away with it, like Leonardo DiCaprio, you're not dating a 30 or 25-year-old woman when you're in your 50s or 60s. So it just doesn't happen in the West. And why did I come to the Philippines? It wasn't for necessarily a significantly younger woman, although we are about 20 years apart in age. That wasn't the reason. I wanted the values that the Filipino culture have. They're loving, caring, they take care of their men, they're loyal, they're traditional, they're religious. Those were the things that I was seeking in the West, and I could not find it. So men, if you're looking for those types of values, you'll find it here in the Philippines more than anywhere, I think, in the world. Plus, in the Filipino culture, age isn't a big deal. I see a lot of Filipino couples that are age gap. I've seen the older Filipino men dating or marrying or even dating 20, 30-year younger women. So it's very common. It doesn't have to be Westerner on Filipina. It can be Filipino and Filipina relationships can be age gap relationships as well. So it's not I have more of an issue with it than she does, right? I bring it up more than she does. She doesn't think about it at all. I think about it more than she does. So keep that in mind, men.
So what are you waiting for? If you don't have boyfriend or girlfriend there, and if you are over like 50, just come here, book your flight.
Yeah, you'll find a 25 to 35-year-old woman won't have a problem dating a 50 to 65-year-old man. Now, if you're much older than that, you might want to move your window up a little bit, and you'll find maybe not as large a selection of the 35 and older crowd, because a lot of those women here are probably already taken or already married, or maybe there might be a few widows in that bracket that you might find, but it's going to be easier to find 25 to 35 here in the Philippines.
Is marriage expected quickly?
Not in the West. We don't expect to marry within a few months. In the West, it's more the norm to wait, maybe a year, 6 months at the quickest. I think 30, 40, 50 years ago, it was more the norm to marry quicker. But today, it doesn't seem to be that way. But I don't think there's an actual timeline that Western men have.
Are dating apps popular in Western?
Yes, they are definitely popular in the West.
Why?
Well, a lot of Western men, they don't want to, especially, I'm speaking about Western men my age, they don't want to go to bars. In the West, they heavily rely on dating apps. You have your Tinder, you have, Bumblebee or whatever that one's called, and there's a couple others, Match.com and all these other places. Cupid is probably in America or in the West as well. But here in the Philippines, I don't know if they use it as much, but you can find specifically Filipinas looking for Western men. You just have to know why they're looking for Western men. So if they're looking for Western men for the financial support, then that's a big red flag and you need to run. If they're looking for Western men because they find Western men attractive, loyal, mature, then that might be their good reason to use a dating app. And you're going to have to, unless you really want to just get on a plane and show up. I'm not saying you can't find a Filipina here, boots on the ground. All you need to really do is walk into any mall and you will be, what do you call it, instant famous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instant famous.
You will become
an actor here.
Yeah, all eyes will be on you because you are a white man, walking.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a white man. You just have to be different. Yeah. You could be a black man. You could be a Latino man, but you're not a Filipino man. So all eyes will be on you wherever you go. And you'll get a lot of Filipinos smiling at you. That's their way of flirting. They're not very, I don't know what the word is, but they're not very aggressive like in the West maybe with their flirting. So it's more subtle, but you certainly can find Filipinas here in person. I've not obviously tried that. I did mine online. And another piece of advice about dating online, men, is do not respond to incoming requests.
Yeah.
That'll just be a dead-end street. 99.9% of the time. I'm not saying it's 100%, but you need to look who are matches and reach out to them and let them respond back to you. If you'll get inundated. You'll get hundreds and hundreds a day for especially when you're a new profile in the first week or so. It'll be hundreds and hundreds of requests and messages on the apps from supposedly Filipina women trying to date you. And that's just a disaster waiting to happen. Those are all 99% are going to be scammers. Most of them are going to be bots. Some of them are going to be not even in the country. They're going to be Ukrainian men posing as women, and they'll give you all kinds of excuses on why they can't call or video chat with you. But that's another red flag, is if she can't video chat while you're dating online, there's a big red flag there. Don't fall for I need load, I need money to do it. There's free Wi-Fi in lots of places. She can figure out a way. It's super dirt cheap, only a few pesos to get load. She could go down to a sorry store with what, 5 pesos, 10 pesos?
No.
And put it in one of those little load machines and just get an hour?
Yeah, for the internet.
How
pesos.
Much? 5 pesos.
5 pesos for 1 hour or 2 hours.
Exactly. So don't fall for it. I don't have load. All right, guys.
Here's the next question. What are common scams to avoid?
I think we've covered most of them. Don't ever give a Filipina money before meeting them face to face. And even after you've met them face to face, you need to see with your own eyes why she might need some financial support. It's very rare that you're going to find a Filipina that's well off and doing well on her own. Standard daily wage in this country is about 700 pesos, which is a little over $10. It's like $12 or $13 a day. That's what they make a day, not an hour, for a whole day's work. So, they're not a rich nation, disposable income and everything like that. So
how important is loyalty?
Very important. One of the reasons I picked the Philippines as a location, Filipinas are very loyal if you find the right one. So if you're not getting loyal signals while you're dating online or when you first arrive, run. Just cut bait. That's a huge red flag. But loyalty is definitely huge with me, and I would think with most Western men, that if they're going to make the leap to come all the way here, they're going to want loyalty as well.
What surprises Western men most when dating in the Philippines?
I think it's the speed at which the relationship progresses. That was probably the biggest surprise. The other big surprise is how loving they really are. They are. You'll never probably experience the kind of love and affection in the West from a woman that you would here in the Philippines. You don't see this kind of loyalty, love, caring, affection from Western women like they do, like Filipino women give. So once you have the heart of a Filipina, you have her 100%. So there's no doubt in your mind at that point that she is really in love with you if you
if she's taking care of you,
if she's doing all those little things for you. So that's the biggest surprise, that I didn't think that woman didn't exist. It was something for a man of my age, it would be like how your grandmother, or maybe certainly if you had a very traditional set of parents, but I think more about my grandparents and how my grandmother treated my grandfather. That's kind of how she takes care of me, in that respect. She does all the cooking, cleaning, housekeeping, all that stuff, and I do most of the financial support. So I do most of paying the bills, paying the utilities, paying the food and all that. And we may get some pushback from you more liberal Western men and women about that, but that's what I choose to do. Nobody put a gun to my head. These are the values and the things that I sought out when I came to the Philippines.
That's why Filipina here is stay at home, taking care to her boyfriend, taking care to her husband like that, and then And then the man here is working. So it's because man here in the Philippines is a provider. So wife is a housewife only. They took care of the kids, taking care of him. So
very traditional
yeah.
gender roles here. Very traditional gender roles.
Yes.
That's why I said it's a lot like my grandparents. You know, that's the traditional role
Yes.
that I was seeking, and it's very much the norm here in the Philippines. So, men, what are you waiting for? Book your flight. Get on a plane. Get to the place to land. It's not hard to fly into Manila from pretty much anywhere in the world. With a couple connecting flights, you could be here. And, you know, get on the dating sites. We used Cupid, Filipina Cupid. I think it's called Filipina Cupid.
Yeah.
There's also Christian Filipina. I've heard good things about that one. I wouldn't necessarily land here and then get on the dating apps, but if they know you're in country and you're on the dating app, you will get probably quicker responses because they don't know if you're actually going to show up, right?
Yes.
So we were talking for a few months before I actually showed up. And you weren't sure I was going to show up until I booked that flight.
Yes.
Yeah. And when I forwarded her the email with the flight information, things didn't change dramatically, but there was a little bit more excitement in her her calls and in videos
I
and
am
everything.
so excited when you sent me your flights and then, oh my God, he's coming! So he's serious.
Yeah. Well,
I was so shocked. I'm
we
so
don't want to
happy.
give too much away, but we'll do a video sometime where we explain how we met and our relationship and everything. But for now, don't forget to hit that like button, that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Why not? You know, we'll be doing more content together. We're about to go next week on a trip to Baguio. So come along, see, you know, our travels throughout Luzon. We're going to take the motorbike up to Baguio for like 5 nights.
Yeah.
And so, you know, stay tuned. We don't travel constantly, but we go on trips.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
Scot-free Philippines. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.
How fast do
relationships? The word is the only thing you're going to do.
I can't read our relationship.
All right, how fast? Right again.
Cause the most
It's okay if you're reading it, babe. You don't have to look up. Ready?
Okay. So I read not here.
Yeah.
It's because I asked you. Okay. So I have.
You didn't really read that one. Yeah.
I want to ask you, like,
all right. Go ahead.
do you surprise? Do you surprise when you see me in the person? You know, like that. What? What are the family expectations when we are dating a Western? Western. Got it, babe. Again, babe.
One more time.
Okay. When dating a Westerner,
Yeah,
right?
just put Westerner right there instead of Filipina. Just read it along, and then when you see Filipina, put Western.
Western.
Or foreigner.